You guys remember that tweet by KingBDogs where he simply says, "SCULK bubbles." That's it. Well, today he shares more screenshots, more images of the SCULK growth, and this time it's clearly showcasing something brand new. And it resembles bubbles. So I think this is our first official look at what possibly could be SCULK bubbles. So we're going to be breaking down these images and screenshots in today's video, as well as briefly talk about the brand new Minecraft beta called 1.18.20.23. Now, there's nothing major introduced. They fix a lot of things and address some issues related to frogs, make some changes to frogs, but there is one feature in particular that we're going to be focusing on that could be related to the Warden. So we're slowly getting close to that deep dark goodness, that deep dark content that we all have been craving for, and I'm seriously here for it. And hopefully you guys are as well. If so, please consider subscribing. Join the Stealth Army. I'd really love to see you guys around here. With that said, let's kick things off with the tweets by KingBDogs, also known as Brandon. He's an absolute legend, so if you guys follow him, let him know the Stealth Army really appreciates everything that he does for the Minecraft community. But here's what he has to say. Came back to this still running after 3 hours. This is about the max radius it can spread from a single SCULK catalyst at the moment. About 50 block radius. No idea if this is final, but as all things in development, things may change. So this image, this screenshot is relatively straightforward. You see a bunch of Elder Guardians falling to their death, and then all of the XP being released is helping the SCULK grow and sort of mold around the biome itself. You guys can see a lot of the SCULK blocks. We see the SCULK veins as well as the SCULK sensors. And then if we zoom in, we can see clearly that whatever that blue thing is, it's round and it looks bubbly, which clearly means that the SCULK bubbles wasn't some random tweet. It wasn't something that's like, hey, I woke up thinking about SCULK bubbles. No, this seems to be an actual feature. Now, this probably was what we saw a couple days ago when they started showcasing the SCULK growth screenshots initially, but I think they just decided to change the look of the SCULK bubbles, or they just decided to change the animation. I'm not sure entirely yet, but I think we can tell that this is a new SCULK feature. This isn't something that's currently in the game, and it's not something they showcased in the past as well. And I already know I'm going to get a lot of comments about Stealth. What is the SCULK bubbles? What can you do with this feature? What is it capable of? And as of right now, we simply don't have the complete answer. We do know quite a few developers are working on the Deep Dark and the SCULK growth, or at least helping out with it. I believe Henrik teased about working on some things, and I think Corey as well showcased a Deep Dark City image as well. So clearly a lot of developers are working on SCULK and the Deep Dark content, maybe for a possible release of a snapshot soon or a beta soon. Fingers crossed on that. But I think it's going to be something that's either poisonous. Maybe if you hit the SCULK bubbles, it's going to give you some sort of effect. Maybe it helps you, maybe it hurts you. I'm not sure on that. Or it could be something that you can harvest, maybe with a bottle. Feel free to share your theories down below. I'll be reading all the comments in this video. So KingBDogs also tweeted, I don't even want to try to calculate the amount of XP the SCULK catalyst would have consumed for this time it ran, but I'm going to say it's a lot. So I've actually been playing around with the SCULK catalyst as well. It's been a lot of fun, but clearly, like you can see, the SCULK will just continue to grow over time. It looks like right now the cap is 50 blocks. Who knows if that's going to stay or change, but right now, it looks like around 50 block radius, which is still pretty extreme, right? So we got another image right here showcasing the SCULK growth using the Elder Guardians, and you can see the SCULK bubbles this time during the day, and we can still see the SCULK bubbles are spread out. They're not really condensed in a certain specific area. Instead, they're spread out through the SCULK growth and the SCULK blocks. So it's a very interesting feature. I'm not sure if it's something we're going to be able to harvest, but I guess we'll know very soon as we get closer to the official release. Now, let's go ahead and focus on the new Minecraft beta called 1.18.20.23. And in this beta, they basically address a lot of things related to frogs and the frog spawn, or tadpoles. And I'll have all the changes in the description if you guys want to take a look. But in regards to frogs and tadpoles, I feel like Mojang's going to be tweaking them for quite some time. I mean, we don't even have fireflies yet, as well as the mangrove forest and mud. Like, there's still quite a few features that we're waiting on that I feel like will impact frogs and the frog spawn. So we'll just have to wait. But what about the Warden? How is the Warden involved in this brand new Bedrock beta? Well, I believe it's included because of this simple change right here called Goat Horn. After using the Goat Horn, there's now a cooldown period before it can be used again. So the Goat Horn was one of those features that they decided to delay due to COVID, as well as some other work-related problems last year. So the functionality of the Goat Horn is still sort of missing. We don't really know what it's used for. Some people are speculating and theorizing that you could use it to summon the allay, and then some of the community was saying that you could use the Goat Horn to scare away the Warden, right? Because the Warden doesn't like loud noises, or at least it's very sensitive to sound and noises, which is why the Goat Horn is such an intriguing item, especially when you consider that the Deep Dark City is going to be one of the most important areas in 1.19 and possibly for quite some time, because it's going to have exclusive treasure. So this is going to be an area that really rewards the player for surviving. So the fact that they decided to add a cooldown to the Goat Horn makes you wonder, is this going to be something we can actually use against the Warden? But of course, it can't be overpowered, it can't be broken, it can't be something you can just consistently spam. And especially this will be very helpful for people that accidentally set off the Shrieker and they just don't want to die, right? Because I don't think a lot of people are going to be able to defeat the Warden. At least casual players, maybe if someone's really trying hard and trying to find a loophole or some way to sort of cheese the Warden, then you're probably going to be successful. But 90% of the community will not be successful in defeating the Warden. So this might be an item that's very helpful to casual players and people that just want to explore the Deep Dark. And it also ties in to the Caves and Cliffs update and incentivizes exploring the mountains and possibly getting the Goat Horn as well. So share your theories and ideas down below. And thanks again for watching. Notification Squad, y'all are the goats. And I'll catch you all in the next video. So take care. Peace.